she was the one that really ran the household. And she was the one that ran the finances, and thank God she did, because Dad did not have that sort of stuff. And there was times when Dad would have conversations, and we would hear Mom say, "Bob, you're not buying that." And that was very firm. There were other times that he would bring things home with a little bit of a surprise. And I've already told you how Mom is frugal, and she always really stretched her God. I remember one time, it was when I was small, before Jimmy was born, and we just had one car, and it was getting harder because Sis and I were growing up, and Mom needed to have a car to take us to school or what have you. And I remember going with Dad to an auction in the neighborhood, and there's this old, Sis will remember this, an old 1958 Plymouth faded pink with a black hardtop car. I thought it was the ugliest thing ever. And Dad's been on the car and I'm thinking, oh, you are not going to buy this car. Sure enough, he bought it for $75. And that was going to be the car that Mom took us to school in. And since you know this, Dad brought that car home, and I told Mom, I said, I am not going to ride in that car. I am not doing it. Again, Mom said, free range, throw whatever you want at it right now. I was being that rotten kid. But sure enough, she had that car. And I remember we were at Miller grade school. I was in 4th grade. And Mom came up to pick us up after school, and she was parked across the parking lot, across the street. And Sis went and got the car, no problem. There was no issues. I was not going to get in that car. I made eye contact with Mom, and I started walking towards our house in that direction. And so I started, and Mom let me go, and I'm walking. And it wasn't a terrible long distance, but it started to sprinkle. It started raining harder. It rained harder. And before I knew it, there's Mom. And she was speaking up on me in that car. And she didn't say anything. She opened the door. That time it was raining really hard. So I didn't say anything. I just got in. She shut the door. And we went home. Didn't say a word. She never did say anything condescending or I told you so. She just said in silence. And I learned lessons that day. That was 8 years old, and I learned that, when life is raining on you and you're by yourself, your ego doesn't protect you. Your ego has no value. It's the love that has the shelter that covers you and protects you. And I thought, what a lesson to learn. And she didn't say a word. But at 8 years old, I learned that my ego would get me nowhere. But the love of family would keep you and protect you. So she would teach lessons like that.